Mary Prefontaine, our guest, she is the CEO of ICAN. ICAN, I like that acronym. That's good.
Thank you.
Institute for Career Advancement Needs, which is nonprofit?
Absolutely. We're a not-for-profit organization. We're based in Warren Buffett country out of Omaha, Nebraska.
And you can learn a lot from him.
We can
WB.
Yes, indeed, the Oracle from Omaha. And we are in the business of working with corporate America and corporate Canada and helping them evolve their leaders and their leadership.
And Arianna Huffington, is, as she suggested to you, says fail up. In the Huff Post,
Absolutely.
she's failed up a lot.
A lot, yes. And she tells a great story, and I think this is a tutorial for everyone, and that is, if you do get fired, if someone does say, oh, that's just a bad idea, you'll never make it happen, as she heard many a time with all of her books and the Huff Post, she said, you just keep going. If you are passionate, you just keep going.
And Oprah said to me once, many moons ago, she said, I know where my lane is. I know what I should do and what I should be doing. I know I shouldn't be doing top politics, but look at her, where she went. She could probably now run for president, but you know, she just knew what she did best, and she got it, and she just kept doing it over and over and over.
And I think that's a key.
Now she's out of her comfort zone a bit with a new network. But she'll hands-on again, and it'll be a success. What do you bet?
And she's so inspirational. What a model of inspiration that she has become for men and women around the world. As an African-American woman who really just through passion and true grit and a lot of determination became successful.
Sure. I remember interviewing a gentleman once, I think he ran Gillette, the razor company, and he would not take a corporate parking spot. He was the CEO, the big haunch, and he'd say, no, 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 whoever gets here first gets the best parking spots. That's just how it is.
Well, and you'll see that a lot of CEOs will give their parking spots up for the employee of the month, and they get to park in the top dog spot. And those may seem like such common sort of, you know, silly things, but to an employee, recognition is meaningful to us in different ways. A parking spot might really matter to you and not to me, but having flowers sent to my desk, you know, every week might be my thing. And so it's about really also treating people as individuals and caring about what they care about.
Of course, and getting up the corporate ladder, not getting stuck in the middle. What does it take, female-wise? Anything different than for men today? I mean, we've heard glass ceiling, we've heard imposter syndrome, all of those things, but what does it take?
Well, I think it takes the same thing for anyone, whether you're a man or a woman. It takes intelligence. It takes some declaration of what it is you really want. And going back to your point, Fanny, about really knowing that you're in the right lane. For God's sake, if you're in the wrong job, get out of it. You're not serving anyone.
That's the fear factor. You may have heard about that. Fear of change, fear of taking the leap, especially taking the leap when you don't have another job.
Right. But I think that networking for women, as lame as that may sound and pedestrian as that may sound, make sure as a woman that you know women outside of your industry, men that are in top positions, women that are in other places that can help you, so that when you do lose your job or you decide to change jobs, you know who to call, and it won't be the first call you make.
Okay, and that's surrounding yourself with your team.
That's right.
Your buddies.
Your buddies.
The kitchen table discussion.
Yes, and that is
so important.
It is, and tomorrow, that's a little bit of the overlay at Corporate Summit, at the Corporate State Summit, because we've brought in 120 women from Canada and the US who are going to have a candid conversation about things that matter to them in leadership and business. And we're saying, be candid. We need to learn from each other. And sometimes we don't invite that, but we're saying, this is our dining room table. There's 120 of us.
Okay, so it's networking at the best level. It's not competitive. I mean, it's let's use each other and embrace each other and put it all together. Social media.
Social media, it is. And we're going to be talking about not, you know, whether or not you should be on Facebook and what are the corporate rules around it. We're talking about, are you using it in your business for the view of a social enterprise? Are you communicating and connecting, and are you listening back from what people are feeding and telling you through your social mediums?
Okay, and what you own and what you don't own and all of that. And as you said, emerging ethics, lots of transparency, accountability. Again, your employees have to feel valued. If you don't feel valued, you don't do the job.
No, you don't. And you don't want to do the job. And statistically, in most corporations, more than 50% of employees that have been interviewed will tell you that they really don't care about the work they do, and they're only maybe half engaged.
Right.
So just think of the power behind that.
And the power behind words on the wall.
Yes.
It's trendy right now. I don't know if it is anymore, but it seems to be. So there's our mission statement. Who are we? What do we want in this environment, in this corporate tower? And it's like, we want balance and we want integrity. Well, they're just words.
They are just words. And I think that words do have power. It's whether or not those words and values align with you or me. It might not mean anything for me to see the corporate motto on the wall unless there's something in there that I really align with and has meaning for me personally. And I think that's a challenge for organizations. However, I think if you frame it up correctly, there are people who can understand that and will get on board.
Sure. What about stress, stress, stress?
Isn't
Overworked, underpaid.
I know,
Can't
tired
find
all the
balance,
time.
Can't find daycare, no flexibility.
Right. Well, I think we're smart. So as a human species, let's just get smart about it and stop, first of all, whining about it. If you're stressed, for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. And most organizations are recognizing today that they have to provide some freedom and flexibility for people to take care of their well-being.
Yeah, like I'll pay you and you can go to the yoga class.
Absolutely. And AOL, and when Ariana took over AOL,
Right.
she put in napping rooms. Because she said, we are a culture that is incredibly tired and we need more rest and we need more sleep. And so now at AOL at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you can go into a napping room and have a 20-minute meditation or sleep, whatever you might need, and you get up and you keep working.
How
and
great.
Isn't that brilliant?
There was a massage therapist who had an entrepreneurial idea a few years ago, and she would go into the corporate workplace and give you a neck massage. If you wanted one, how good is that? Like, especially when you're hunkered over your computer and can't get outside. The physical part of a building, fresh air, better lighting, the energy in a building, all of that.
It all matters. I love the guest you had on last Friday that talked about our connection between nature and our well-being.
Nature in the brain.
Nature in the brain. I'm a great believer of that. And so when you walk into new buildings today, there's a lot more light. There's air that's being pumped in. There's music. There are places for people to go and collect themselves and rest.
Sure.
And maybe they'll work to midnight, but they'll feel a lot better about it.
So if you're in a workplace where you feel fear, you just feel that if you make a wrong step, you're a goner. How do you do that? How do you cope with that? What should you do?
Well, I think we're always afraid of the dragon, right? We're afraid they'll burn us to dust. And often, and I recently wrote about this in the Vancouver Sun in an op-ed piece about the fear factor in corporate America. And it's so prevalent, Fanny. And so what is that about? And it usually starts at the top. And so my advice to people who are living in a culture that is based in fear is to get out. You probably cannot fix it until the leadership changes that culture.
Okay, so if you have a control freak boss, if you have a bully boss, just leave.
Just leave.
So easy to say, isn't it?
It is. It's so easy to say. And yet there is much you cannot fix in that situation unless they're willing to fix it from an organic perspective.
Sure. And organic would be putting more women on boards, for instance?
It would be indeed, wouldn't it?
It would.
We don't have that yet. I mean, Canada has not regulated it, nor has the U.S., but there are countries around the world that are now saying if it is a private or public board, 50% of the board members must be female.
Okay.
And they're talking about it because of the diversity that we bring to the perspectives of leadership.
Okay. So tomorrow, the corporate state sold out. Four Seasons Hotel.
Yes.
With the Prez there.
Yes.
How nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Thanks.
again.